Hey everyone, welcome back. Actually, well, some of you is welcome back. For some of you, it might be the first time you're coming to this channel. Now, I will say this right up front, just so you all know exactly what's going on. This is episode 0. This is the setup episode. If you're looking for the action where you see exactly all the starting of our republic, what we're building, how we're doing it, that's fine. Skip to the next episode, episode 1. That's for you. If you're looking to see exactly what settings I did, I'll sit down on the map and I'll look at all the areas where I'm debating where I put my industries, plan out where the resources are, the shipping lines, electric lines, basic ideas, see where what generates, what towns we have, if any. That's what this episode is going to be. I'm trying to do this as a kind of a way to go, instead of just jumping into the action, because people are like, oh, I want to see the action right away, which we all know is very important. But some people like to see exactly how things are set up, what settings are set up that way, and that way you know and can replicate it yourself with whatever seed or however, okay? So if you're looking for the action of building the first buildings and power plants and everything else, please skip ahead to episode 1. If you're looking for all the settings, please stay along and join me for this. So now that we're here, this game is something I've had as a kind of a passion project on my drive for a nice long time. And by the way, if you actually like what you see today, I will always remind you politely, but only once, consider, of course there's a text message, to consider hitting the like button or following this channel or my YouTube or my Twitch channel or our Discord. All of our links are down below, as well as any mods we use. They'll be down below. I'll have links for all that stuff. It might change, and I will do my absolute best to keep it very small. The only, I think, ones we're going to add on, pipelines can go over roads and under roads, which are already part of the base game now, as well as conveyors have better building ways over roads because sometimes it's not as good, and larger construction offices. I am not going to make the game easier. I'm just going to make it more, for me, building a larger parking lot and dumping a lot more machines into it that I can lose if there's a fire doesn't seem to be very OP for me. Now, going over a road with an oil line, or going over a railroad a more efficient way doesn't seem OP if I'm willing to pay for it, which makes them very ruinous and expensive. Now, the base game has added in underground pipelines and some other things, and I don't think that's bad. I think they're also going to have an orphanage soon. I'm not exactly sure. So let me go out here. We're going to do the new game, and I'm going to show you the exact settings. We're going to random map, and I've set this up the way I want. I want a starting population. I guess we'll push it a little higher. We're going to medium. That gives us $1 million US and 3.5 million rubles. Reasonable. Energy management has to be both, meaning you have to build power lines to everything, and vehicles will use fuel. I can change some of these in the game when we start off, so it's not a big deal. Night-day cycle is static sun. We could do moving, but I don't think people like nighttime. It's very hard to see on various videos, and I don't want to have a gamma filter. Seasons are enabled, so we will have winter, we will have cold, we will have to provide heat for our citizens. The next is building fires are normal. We're not going to turn them off, but we're not going to make them frequent. Global events are like pandemics and price changes, so like a big rush need for iron or oil will happen. There also will be medical problems we'll have to worry about with having enough hospitals. Pollution will be enabled, which will make our citizens sicker. Starting year is 1960. Vehicle availability will be locked according to year, and the education system will be complex. You need to teach your children in school. Parents of children under age 6 can work only if they can place their children in a kindergarten. And start a new game. Amount of lakes is, I pushed it down a little bit to 0.27. Amount of hills is 0.33. I left everything here the same. Rivers, I pushed up to 4 from, I think it was 3. I did build a city, but no roads. Amount of towns, I made 7. I think this is pretty good. It lets me have a few things to connect to, but not a lot of people that are sucking down wood and stuff like that, where they make their own fires and their own food, and they make a lot of pollution. So I'm going to connect up as soon as I can, and I think that's a decent way to start off without being too OP, not being easy as hell, where it's unlimited funds or $10 million, that kind of stuff, which isn't bad. But I want to struggle a little bit in the beginning as we get going. I watched a couple series on this over the years. I made these screens, quite honestly, back in 2019. And I said, oh, we're going to start off. And I never did. And the pandemic hit in real life with COVID and everything else. And I said, I'll do it later on. And next thing I know, it's been out for almost 3 years now. So it's time to get this going. I am dedicating a lot of this stuff to my Patreon people who have been really nice to me and long-term supporters. We're going to see some cities, some towns, some train lines with their names on it, and that lets me have some basic ideas of what to come up with their names. This is, Soviet Banistan, and if some people watch and they actually ask good questions or they're very nice in the comments section down below, I will be. When I say nice, I don't mean like fawning fake praise. I mean giving good advice and not being snarky and jerks. And we know people on the internet love to have anonymity and be a prick for it. I'm not looking for that. I will just gladly ban people and move on because I don't care. If you're on to be a jerk, I can be a jerk too. No one needs to have a jerk waving contest. So instead, I just try to answer all questions as much as I can. I don't know everything. I'm not a high-end player, and I think that's pretty good. So let me go. We're going to do a jump cut here because it takes a while to load this, and we'll see you on the next screen. Now, welcome back. The jump cut is over. One thing I wanted to show exactly why I picked what I picked. I've been looking at this for a few minutes here just to get a basic idea. We'll show the mini-map, and if you hold this, you can make it very large if you want to. So I'm going to do that a little bit. Now, some of the stuff I looked at: coal, iron, oil, uranium ore, and bauxite. Now, we don't need anything really besides coal and oil off the bat. Everyone knows how to do the whole set up as much oil as possible, export it, make a giant amount of money. And we're going to do some of that, but we're not going to do all of it. The main reason I liked this map, I generated 3 maps. This is the 3rd one. The other ones were very poorly designed. They just didn't flow right. Like, one had a river only into the Soviets. Another one had a river only into the West. Another one had a river that went from here down and like over this way. It was really poor, and it was so tight. And like, I know boats wouldn't have been able to go through it. This one, however, actually that's before. This is the 4th map. This one looks pretty good. So I'm going to show you why I chose what I chose, and we're going to go from there. Now, there are a couple connections. The Soviets are on this side, the left and the bottom. The West is on the right side at the top. And I like the way the map looks. The river isn't too big. It's not too small. This is one of the prime junctions, and same with this. So it's a pretty decent area. We can expand it over time and have a large shipping industry. We can also tie in with very little trouble, maybe get rid of this and have a very large dry dock area or shipping area in a few areas with very little movement. Like, let's say we just, actually all we have to do is maybe not even cut anything. We just do a lot of this stuff. It looks pretty good. The lake system isn't bad. And I wanted to look over here at the bottom. There's a pretty decent amount. There's another river over here that goes through. This one doesn't count as a river, but this one does. So making sure this area is dug out enough to make sure it can support at least 2 ships going side by side each other so they can go in either direction at the same time will not be hard. And I learned way back in the day, if you put up construction areas or construction offices and a gas station next to, or a couple gas stations right next to them, you can pretty easily, with the cost, of course, of the machines, dig almost freely, as long as you're digging up your own or drilling your own oil. So the oil situation, here, the coal first, I guess, is the best. We're going to go down in order. Up here, I like the Soviet side just because there's a lot to do here. Now, I'll show you the connections on the side. Remember, this is episode 0, and if you want to see just the action and me putting down lines and cities and everything else, fast forward to episode 1. I think an episode 0 will be a very good thing to have. Now, as you can tell, there's everything here. There's power and road here only. There's no railroad. The next one right here, you connect. This one has all 3, power, railroad, and road. The one down, there's nothing all the way until down here, which is called, let me see if I can get the name of it right. I probably won't. Bates, I guess. And Bates has all 3. Power, 3 lines for each road and railroad. Very decent connection. Then you've got Mazina, 1 of each. 1 road and rail, and then one power. Then you have nothing on this side until the corner. You flip the corner, you go over here, and you've got power and road. Down here, you have another one, which is very heavily well done, 3 and power. Then again, you have the ocean connections. You can ship as much as you want with that, which is very good if you're trying to do early. If you can afford the boat and you can fill it with decent resources, you can make a lot of money. I don't think exporting coal and iron is a good idea. I think we can make them in the end products with labor pretty easily. Food, however, and alcohol and meat, that's a different story. We'll say. Now over here, we have 1 of each. We have 3 of each, and then 1 power. And then I think that's it for the last two that are over on top of the other side of this river, which means we'd have to have a bridge, which we're not going to do for a while. I can now not pronounce this, but don't worry. I'm sure someone will try to for me. And on top of that, it only has a road connection, not that powerful, not that needed, maybe something for something very small. This is kind of a waste. No power, but 3 rail and 3 road, so we might ignore this one for a while. Then you have another river connection over here, and it wouldn't be that hard to connect this river over here if we need to, but I don't think it's required. I mean, you have a natural river down here if you look at the mini map. It's not too bad. There's 3 connections to the Soviets, 1 connection over here to the Soviets, and then 1 connection to the West. I wish there were more to the West. I didn't want to make a bunch more map rolls. I wasn't looking to just annoy the hell out of myself. Over here, you've got 1 little road connection and 1 little rail connection on top of a gravel spot. No big deal. The only rail connection here for boats, which I'm going to try my best over time as we start making, after we're stable on rubles, then we'll worry about the West. And eventually I want to ship so much to the West that if we get rid of this and this, like make it more of a clear channel, maybe get rid of this too, like maybe make it along. I wish I had a way to paint on the screen. I guess I could re-put up Epic Pen, but we're going to make it very, very, very easy so they don't have to turn much. They go here, turn, straight on in. Once they get over there, I don't care what they do because it doesn't matter. But as long as we get a little faster through here, this river, all the rivers will be eventually channeled a little bit. I think that's a good thing. Now, you guys can see the connections. The West has a couple connections. They don't really matter too much because there's not much to buy with Western dollars or NATO dollars. There's some good things, and I will be connecting to them somewhat, but I'm going to focus right now on this side of the map. Right about here is where I think I want to build most of my starting infrastructure until we can stabilize. We have a good river connection here and here. We have some cities. We have a city here, which we will rename soon. Right there, Cernikova. We also have down here, which is really funny. I put 7 on and I only see 5. I put 5 villages on and only see 5 villages. This is Tavonia? I'm going to butcher it. I know I'm going to butcher it. Don't worry. If you're looking for correct pronunciations, don't worry. I'm a product of the American school education system. Public, oh, of course. I'm sure nothing will be wrong. Wakakski. I don't know how to say that one either. And then we go up here, way up. And we've got Sesdro. We can also change these names, apparently, and we're going to, because I think it's important, but I will allow these names to be seen. That way, if someone wants to claim a city, like this city up here, probably, this village rather, will not be taken into account for a while, probably like 20, 30 episodes, because connecting everything at once is not easy. And I don't think it's going to be a good idea. That's a church in there, huh? Didn't realize they made church. I thought that was only cathedrals. Let's see what's over here. I think there's a way to build cathedrals with a copy tool, but I'm not sure. We're going to try to make sure we're good socialists and Soviets, and we're going to get rid of religion very quickly. Now, back down here. Remember, this is episode 0, like I said before, and if you're looking for the action, please go to the next episode. Now, over here, we're going to go back down. This way is pretty much the way I'm going to look at this, because the river connection's up here. This is northward. Maybe I'm facing it wrong, because I think some people, I always screw this up. In my brain, the tool, the way it's working, we're looking upwards like this right now on the map. So I think this is facing with our back to south. Yes. So I like this area here. It's got a small little town we can take in, another small town we can take in. Now we're going to look at coal first. Now coal, we all know we can make power plants pretty easily. I don't want to put my people right next to it, but having a power plant nearby, connecting to these connections as much as I can, and a couple up here to the west, and selling some power right off the bat, it does take a long time to pay off. It absolutely does. But the thing about that is we will be at least connected. So I will try to get a couple connections very quick, especially the closer ones. That's why I was very happy when I saw this one. We have 2 power connections here. And then down here, we have 1 power connection, 1 power connection, and if I remember correctly, there's 1 more here. So that's 5 power connections we can take advantage very quickly and ship out a lot of power. Power, when I say power, I do mean coal being turned into power in our power plants. Now, there will be pollution. I don't know how large the radius for pollution is. I've looked here and there, and I've always usually had more hospitals covers it, and it's okay. So we'll be trading some of our citizens' health for money, which in the world seems to be a common theme. So this town will be hooked up. This town will be hooked up. We got power. We've got coal. Coal will probably be up in this area. The reason I want to do this, I want to show you guys what I mean. If we go to various industry, no, not various industry. It's I believe it's fuel. No. Metallurgy. Aluminum, steel. No, it's not this one either. I grab coal. Okay. Coal is here. Now, if you look here, we have coal mines here and here. So what I'm going to do, here's a little way you can do it. I learned it from a few people. There and there. And we're going to call this one. We're going to click on this. We're going to call this coal 1. You can do this yourself, too. It's not a big deal. And we're going to call this one coal 2. Now, it's going to make any cities nearby called whatever you want. Like, let's say I put a factory, or sorry, apartment building right here or here. It'll take the name, say coal 1ville or coal 2ville. All you got to do is re-click somewhere in the name and change it. You don't have to leave it like this forever. So that's coal 1 and 2. There's also some coal up here, and yes, we have access to it. Let's see here. Coal, gravel. I always do this wrong. I think it's... Whoa, hey, stop. Whoa. What's going on? Stop it. It's not over here. Where is it? There it is. Right there. Giant node, but it needs to be flattened, so I'm not going to take this one right away, but I am going to label it so at least I know what's going on. I'm going to call this one coal 3. We'll call it coal 4, I think, actually. Why 4? I'm going to put 3 closer. Coal 4. And I encourage you to do this yourself in your own game. This game is very good. It should be on the Steam sale. It's been out for a while. Now we're going to go over to here. There's some coal in this area, as you can see. There's coal on 2 spots here and a little bit over here. So we're going to label this one too. It's a coal mine. Let's see. There's one there. Now we already have 4 across. So we're going to call this one 3. There's a little one here, so there's 2 of these. So we're going to call it 3 and 5. 1 and 2. Can I get rid of this one? Let's get rid of that one. Let's read it. And put this one up here. Okay. We'll call this one coal 5. And the reason I'm showing this episode 0 stuff, a lot of people are like, why the hell did you make these decisions in all these YouTube videos I've been watching for years? And having a series start with episode 0 is the foundation, just to let people know the thinking, the thought process. And if they want to critique it or change it, if I can maybe even save... I wish there was a seed on these things. I'm not sure if there is, someone can let me know, but game settings, as you can tell, are all the ones we had. I just wish there was a... I think it's called a seed number. Would be really nice to be able to hand this out. I can save it, and I already have, but I would love to... If people want it, let me know. I'll be keeping one save right at the very start, right here, before I do all this labeling, and you can do whatever you wish. So if you're looking for it, let me know. It's not that hard to give. Now, there is some coal here, but I don't really care about the coal up in here. I do care about a little bit of iron. Now, we have some iron here right next to the coal, which is very nice. We're only going to label a couple. We don't need a lot of iron right off the bat because we're not looking to get into iron mining right off the bat. So there's some iron right here next to the coal. So both to be next to each other would be really nice. Excuse me. Call this iron... I think I'm going to call this iron 2, actually. And here's why. I'm going to look for some iron that's not... I think there's iron right here. See, it's weird how it shows the grid, and people think that's the border. It's not really. You can actually go here. If you go take the iron mine, right? There's iron right there. And it's flat, and there's no need for any kind of... And it's actually a pretty decent... If you look, I think there's a 77 in there somewhere. No, 76 I've seen. The percentage means how much you pull up per shovelful. So I'm going to call this one Iron 1. This one will be more... I will do that one if I have to, but getting that level might be a real nightmare. And I don't know in the game if you level the whole mountain down, if you lose any of the ore inside of it. I have to test that out. I will do a test game. So we got iron and we got coal set up. Not set up, but at least we know where they are. Now down here, I wouldn't mind having oil all on this side of the map. But the thing is, some of the oil up here is very far away. Like we've got oil right in here. Look, if you look right, let me see if we can, I think it's fuel. Yes, fuel. Pump jack. You see there's fuel right there. And there's fuel right there. And then you have some, I think it's up in here. No, I'm wrong. There's some here right inside there. You can braise up the lake a little bit. I'm not looking to do that right off the bat. There's a decent amount here up in this area. We'll leave that for now. I think what we're going to do is focus our oil industry down here. And the reason being there's a decent amount. Now, it's going to make this city not be the happiest, but this city is going to be a worker city. If people can move out, they're more than welcome to. So right here, there's a pump jack here. There's a pump jack here. It looks like there could be a couple pump jacks here. And let's see here. Yeah, here. Some of that has to raise up. Some of this has to raise up. And then you get one back here. That's 5 in a very small area. And maybe because of the size of the node, especially this one, 1, 2, and 3, we might even be able to get a four pump jacks. They won't be operating at maximum capacity, but having 2 pump jacks pull out of the ground on a wired area than one that cannot reach everything seems to be the better play. I'm not sure it's perfect, but I'm going to label these. So we're going to label it 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to label it 1, 2, and we're going to put another one up here, right there. Now we're going to put, let's do it down here. We're going to go oil. And remember, you can do whatever you wish in your game. It's more than well. I'm not trying to make this game be the most amazing. If you're like a mid-range player, you found the right place. If you're someone who's super experienced and you're looking to do meta builds and all this other crap and tell us how wrong everyone is and everyone else sucks compared to you, you might want to just move on. And I say that because I don't want to waste your time and I don't want to waste my own. Like, if you're getting angry because I don't know every little button and I'm not perfect on every efficiency and I don't make every oil line and power line and all these things perfect the way you do, you're just going to get frustrated, okay? I think it's just easier to say, hey, look, why don't you move on if you don't like that kind of play? Because some of you are really good at the game. I admit that. You are better than me. I'm not trying to be the best. I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to get better. And I think that's better than trying to be perfect out the wazoo. Because who wants to watch someone play a game this old and be just perfect? Some people want to get in the game and give it a shot, and then when people become gatekeepers of it, it becomes very annoying to get new people into it. So I'm trying to bring new people into the game. There you go. So there's oil 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. We got that done. We do not need uranium ore yet, but I am going to label it at the very least, which is right here. That way I know I can see at a glance where it is. And I don't have a way, I don't think. Let me see. Metallurgy, small aggregate, aluminum plant, bauxite plant, iron ore mine, steel mill. I don't think I have any way I'm even allowed to touch power transformer. I don't think I'm allowed to. Uranium mine? I can put a uranium mine. See how big that uranium... All these minerals are right here. And it says I can do it. But... you can do power right off the bat in 1960? Really? Wow. Max power consumption. Okay, so the uranium processing plant... Aggregate storage import is 100 tons equals 30 tons uranium oxide. Uranium conversion takes uranium oxide, chemicals, and power and converts that to UF6. Okay. 4 tons of UF6. Wow. And then from there, nuclear fabrication. 0.095 tons of nuclear fuel from 0.4 tons of UF6, 0.75 of chemicals, which we don't have access to, and some power. And then you take all of that. Cooling tower. Oh, my Lord. Oh, this is... I know there's a lot needed. I'm just going to put up... I'm going to show you where the nuclear is. It's right here. I think that's a better use. Like, these two are great, of course. But long term, if we can... We don't have a lot of uranium, it seems. We have a little bit here. We have some up here. Way up. And I know that at a certain point, making sure you have enough uranium is going to be a very large problem. Because all this uranium out here on this border, really deep, you cannot get to. Like, I have some here I think I could get to. Let's see if we can look at this one. See, there's some here we can kind of... If we put it there, we would somehow dig some of it out into our... It's like slant drilling in the real world. You can get some, but not all. And there's some over here, it seems, in this mountain. So there is some capabilities. Where'd it go? This one? Yes, right here. So there's some more in here. So there's enough, but not enough. I can't start off with uranium no matter how much I want. How much does uranium actually bring? I'm actually not sure. Uranium ore. is 21.91 tons. Ouch. UF6 is 4,600. Okay. And uranium oxide is 1,000 per ton, but it's not quick to build. Yeah, it's not going to be something I can grab right away. I'm glad I know where it is. And there's also some down here, but not a very good concentration. If you look in this little tunnel here, you can see, let's see, construction, power, uranium mine. There is some, but it's so bleh, it's not really worth it. There's also some across at the top of this lake. Little place here, 42%. Not great either, but I'm going to label it at least. That way we know it's here. I'm going to call this uranium 2. Come on. Uranium 2. Now, one thing I will say towards the Patreon people, hey, thanks for being part of it. If you watch this later in the video, hey, great. When I put some of the cities up, I'll start putting your names on it, because right now this is just resource looking and making sure we know what we're going to do. And I think having a town right about here, as you can see, we've got iron, we got some connections, we got oil, we've got coal, we got the river. I think having a place right about here with the border this close would be a wonderful way to start exporting resources out of the map without having a ginormous wait time. Like, we can export some things that are not ideal to make sure that our ships are running and making us some money back, because as long as the ship's in play, meaning it's moving, it actually makes you cash compared to sitting in the dry dock waiting for really rare resources. So one thing I can see, there's some gravel. I don't want to export gravel. There's oil, of course. We can make fuel and bitumen to export some of that, but the connections are right there. We also don't have to make the ship thing for a while. And on the other side of the river, there is a little bit of coal in the middle, way out there. You can see it right about there. Now, if we look over here, there's a lot more oil, but it's unfortunately on the other side. So the oil, I really wish it would show you on the map if there was a way to do it. Like, hey, show me the oil that I can reach, or like show me the grid. I would love to have an option for that, or a mod. If someone knows, please let me know. I'll try to have the mods I'm using, which will be over, like I said, over the road conveyor belts, over the road oil pipes, and larger construction yards. It's the only ones I'm going to use, and I will have links to them down below in this video. If I don't, I will change it later on, change the description, and I'll put a notification on the very first comment that I'll pin saying, hey, I've updated this, here's the link here and in the description. That way people know exactly where to get it. Okay, bauxite is nearby. It'd be nice to get some bauxite right off the bat, only because it would be something nice to mine out and sell, but we don't need it, right? It's $50 a ton versus $22 a ton for coal and iron, and you can just raw ship it. All you have to do is take it out, process it right into a, I think it's right here. Construction, no. It's metallurgy, right there. It's bauxite mine, bauxite processing plant, and then you go to alumina plant, which we cannot make yet, because we won't have the chemicals. I will be shooting for chemicals quickly, but I can only do these two. So maximum production per workday is 75 tons of bauxite from raw bauxite, from 125 tons of bauxite. So it's a conversion. It's not 2 to 1. It's more like 1.8 to 1 or 1.7 to 1. But we will be able to sell it pretty well. And I did see up here, if I need to, remember, if I need to, because coal mines don't ever run out as far as I'm aware. Not loans. Where is it? No, where's prices? What? Loan, current prices. Okay, oh, I'm on the wrong page. So we get, where is it? Right. Aluminum, which I think, is it bauxite ore? It's bauxite is 50. I don't think you can actually export the wrong stuff, can you? Raw bauxite is $24 per ton. Bauxite is 50 per ton. Coal is 19 a ton. Coal ore is 7 a ton. Iron ore is 7 a ton, 22 for raw iron. Now, I know that building a steel mill can really be painful, and I'm not trying to destroy the system, because I do know that over time, as you export, you will run down the market price if you export too much. I am trying to do experiments to find out if I have a train with 8 different resources on it versus 1 resource on it, will it go down quicker if you sell all of the same resource for all 8 cars worth, or if you sell 8 different resources, 1 car each, and only ding the price versus destroy the price? I am trying to find out. If anyone knows, I'd love to hear it. As for this, basically what I want to do, from what I can tell, with all of this dead space all over the place, especially if you look here in the corner, I don't think this is... I can't tell if that's supposed to be a hill or if it's just a messed up gravel spot. There are gravel spots, and we will need a lot of gravel, and I will be making gravel to make cement and prefab. What do you call these things? They're called prefab panels. But I do want to have a large amount of farms. So I think to wrap this video up as quick as I can, here's my basic idea. We have everything labeled. We have oil, we have iron, we have coal. I told you about the shipping routes. I told you about the power, the wood, the connections. I will be building most of my roads with dirt and gravel as soon as I can. So I will be connecting. Let's do the gravel before I forget. let's see, that's 1 and 2. There's also 1 here. A gravel place isn't bad. So I'm going to label this one. Let's go here. Is it this one? No. Is it under construction? Yes, it is. We'll call this one gravel 1. Now, why? Because every little thing you label and plan, it makes it easier compared to having to fly by the seat of your pants. It's not called gravel. We'll call it gravel 1. Yes, with the accent on it. There's 1. Now, where else do we got? Anywhere else nearby that's relatively easy? Yes, there's another tiny one right there. Remember, this doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be, or at least I know where it is. Gravel 2. And here's my thought process. We get roads, we get construction people running as soon as we possibly can. They start building everything. And I do know, and this is going to be gravel 3 and 4, and I think 3 and 4 will be, well, it could actually be better. I know I have gravel 1 and gravel 2. I'm going to put another one down here, gravel 3 and 4, and here's why. These 2 places are going to be a very large area to make prefab panels, gravel. Remember, like I said, we can actually ship this stuff out if we need to. I don't want to, but I'm the experiment me, or the scientist in me, makes me want to go, hey, if I ship this stuff out right here and then ship it down with a giant barge, how long would it take with such a short... Because remember, we can actually even dig the channel out here and have the barge parked here, or we can just truck it, which is not far, right to here. Or hell, gravel quarry goes to gravel production plants. Then production plants put it out the other side to aggregate storage. Aggregate storage goes to another aggregate storage with pushers. Pushers go to a dock right here. We can either make the dock right where it is, or we can dig a small little area right here to make it push back so other ships can go by, and boom, you're just right out all the time. I like that idea. Plus, with all that stuff going on the way it is, we could put a road right underneath and keep this connection open, which significantly is actually pretty big. I mean, we're pretty far up right now, but if you go down here, yeah, I'm not sure. And I don't know how much demand destruction actually hits when it comes to raw resources like gravel, because I think you would need it, but who knows. Now, last thing, my plan is to have all this area as much as possible, besides the road connections, to here and here and here. A lot of this is dead space. There's not many resources back here. There's not even oil that we can get to as far as I'm aware. I could be wrong on the oil, though. Let me check. Yeah, the oil is like right on there. Let me see here. Yeah, the oil's right there. We can put the pump jack right there. I'll put 1 oil, and I'll disguise it, because if not, I'm going to forget about it. With this, like, we'll call this slant drilling. We're not even going to call it oil. Slant drill 1. You can get that oil, take it, and either ship the oil right back in, process, and ship out the fuel and bitumen, which I kind of like. But the reason I showed you this corner and why I like this map, there's no roads here. There's no roads here. So all of this is pretty much dead space. So we could put farms right up to the border as much as we want and use this as a ginormous grow zone, which even if I'm looking at the city this way, it cuts off a lot of the map. So I like this idea. Like this town here, this little lake here, and these gravel pits on one side make a nice little convenient frame to probably put 4 to 6 large farms in here. And I don't mean fields, I mean farms. and then take all of the crops, ship them out here, and then do processing and ship the food here as well as here. And we can make meat, we can make distillery, we can make raw food from all the grain we're going to be making. And I think that's a pretty decent start-off point. With all of that built, depending on how I have to do trains, I mean, yeah, there's some lake stuff I have to fiddle with, and this is kind of in the way, but it's not terrible. We can maybe make it where there's, I don't want to say tourism right off the bat. I haven't fiddled with tourism ever since they added it, but I do like the idea of having an area where this is a heavy industrial valley, farms and fields and mines galore, and then shipping. And I think that's a good start. So if you have any suggestions, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to put some things here for my own notes. I'm going to call this, let's see here. Let's do this. I love how you have the cloned copy area. I don't know if that works with a church or a cathedral. If it does, it'd be really nice. I'd love to know. We're going to call this farms. Farm area 1. And we're going to, this one area, because it's so next to gravel, we will be putting down, I'm going to build most of this with rubles right off the bat to make sure we can actually have some growing time. Because we're in March right now of 1960. And I do know some people try to go right out with construction and save as much money as possible. I'm going to take the other approach that we need crops to be able to make a big industry around maybe this area or maybe around this area. I'm not really sure exactly. I'll fill it in as I show you episode 1. And we will do our best to build everything we can with oil, coal, and the coal mines here will probably power the entire valley. I think that's a decent area. We'll probably put a coal power plant region here. The people will be here. We've got gravel to build stuff with. We can have roads around. So, and when I say around, I learned something from one of my buddies, Charlie, who did a series of Zone, that if you go out there and upgrade a road and there's no way around, your people can't go through while it's being upgraded. So if you have 2 different roads or redundancy in the system, you can upgrade one while the other one is being used in the meantime. And I like that idea. So that's my basic plan. I like this little island, for lack of a better term, this little island here. The river is going to outline it. We're going to do everything on this side for now. I'll connect the 1, 2, 3, 4 power plants, or for power connections. I might make 1 power connection all the way up to here. And I want to show this very quickly because it's one of the last things. There's a connection here, and there's another connection here. So if I have 2 independent lines going up here, and the reason I have 2 independent lines, if you look up here under power, high voltage wires, the highest you can go is 18 megawatts. These can go up to a maximum of 18 megawatts. So I would need 2 independent lines going all the way next to each other almost over to this area from there's coal here and here or here, and let it go across. And I want to make sure if I do put a power connection over, it's going to take a long time to pay off. 2 lines is not needed off the bat. 1 is, though. 1 is. I like the idea of putting 2, but 1 line directly from the power plant right to there, just to make me US dollars, will take a long time to pay off the power plant. It'll take a long time to pay off the power line, and it'll take a long time to pay off the mine that's feeding it. But the quicker we start, the quicker it pays off. Because some of that extra power, I'm not sure how much a power plant can even produce. Let me look one more thing. Coal power plant. Maximum production per workday is 1,400 megawatts of power. That can't be right. Max power consumption per day, 0.6 megawatts. Can only make 14, no, really? Gas power plant is 8.8 tons a month, makes 10. Single reactor power plant makes 4,600. So I would need a tremendous amount of power plants. And it's 2,300. Oh, sorry, 234,000 rubles. So we're going to spend a lot of rubles right off the bat. We're going to, if I start exporting. So the U.S. connection might have to wait until all the other stuff's up. Yeah. I wanted to have a trickle in of power, but I think the way might be to do it. Either make... Actually, the other way to make U.S. dollars is not to do it and maybe ship a ship up this way of other goods to that thing. Yeah, okay. Now, you're more than welcome to add into it. This episode's already pretty long. I'm going to try to make the series. I could make 1-hour-long episodes. I could make 30-minute-long episodes. I think 30 might be a little bit more achievable, but hour-long episodes might be better. I'm going to be asking people to give me your take on that down below. I'll be asking in the first episode. One of the first things I ask will be, hey, how long do you want these episodes to be? And it's going to be about a 30-minute long episode, maybe a little bit longer. I'm not sure. We could also employ jump cuts. I'm not 100% sure. So I think the first thing to do, before I forget, we're going to call this place Banistan. And only because my name's Ban, and it's funny. And I think it's stupid, and it's just going to be a little signpost with nothing under it for a while. So if you like what you see, thanks a lot. I'll see you in the next video for episode 1. This was the setup video. If you have any input you want to give, or if you want to see any of the links to any of the mods I'm going to be using, please look down below. You're more than welcome to join us on our socials: Twitter, Discord, Instagram, Twitch. You're already here. Hey, thanks a lot. Remember, I try to put out a huge amount of stuff every day, and I do this full time. So I hope I can make you smile a little bit with it and maybe teach you something along the way. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next episode.